The year is 1893. The world is on the cusp of a new era, and nowhere is this more evident than in the bustling city of Chicago. Chicago thrums with excitement, the heartbeat of progress pounding in its streets. The city is alive with the promise of the future, its streets filled with the clatter of horse-drawn carriages and the hum of eager conversations. People from all walks of life converge here, drawn by the magnetic pull of opportunity and innovation. The world's Columbian Exposition, a spectacle of wonder and innovation, has drawn millions to its dazzling lights and marvels of the modern age. This grand event, celebrating the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's arrival in the New World, showcases the pinnacle of human achievement. From the towering Ferris wheel to the electric lights that illuminate the fairgrounds, every corner of the exposition is a testament to human ingenuity. But a shadow lurks beneath this veneer of progress, a darkness embodied in a charming young doctor named H.H. Holmes. Holmes, with his piercing blue eyes and disarming smile, has constructed a labyrinthine hotel just blocks away from the fairgrounds. This Murder Castle, as it would later be known, is a place of unspeakable horrors, designed with secret passages, trapdoors, and soundproof rooms. Unbeknownst to the city reveling in its moment of glory, Holmes is about to unleash a reign of terror unlike any America has ever seen. As the fairgoers marvel at the wonders of the modern age, they remain blissfully unaware of the sinister events unfolding just a stone's throw away. The joyous celebrations and the laughter of the crowds mask the chilling reality that, in the shadow of the fair, a monster is at work. Born Herman Webster Mudgett in 1861 in New Hampshire, Holmes's early life hinted at the darkness to come. A bright but troubled child, he exhibited a morbid fascination with death, reportedly torturing animals and even being suspected in the death of a childhood friend. His intelligence was undeniable, but it was twisted, a tool honed for manipulation and deceit. Even then, the seeds of a monster were being sown.
Drawn to the allure of anonymity and opportunity, I arrived in Chicago in 1886. I adopted the name H.H. Holmes, shedding my past as easily as a snake sheds its skin. I secured a job at a drugstore, quickly charming my way into ownership. But I had grander, more sinister ambitions. I envisioned a palace of horrors, a building designed not for commerce, but for murder.
On a lot across from the drugstore, Holmes began construction on what would become known as the Murder Castle. It was a labyrinthine structure filled with hidden passages, secret rooms, and soundproof chambers. Gas jets, controlled from Holmes's own room, could pump deadly fumes into any part of the building. It was a house designed for death, a monument to Holmes's twisted genius. Holmes used his charm and charisma to lure victims, often presenting himself as a successful businessman or a caring friend. His demeanor was disarming, making it easy for him to gain the trust of those he targeted. Many of them young women to their doom. These women, often new to the city and looking for opportunities, found themselves drawn to his promises of a better life. He preyed on the vulnerable, offering employment, lodging, or even the allure of romance. His hotel, which seemed like a sanctuary, was actually a labyrinth of horrors. Within the walls of his macabre hotel, the facade of safety quickly crumbled. The dimly lit corridors and eerie atmosphere masked the true nature of the establishment.
Once inside, they were trapped, ensnared in a web of deception, unable to find their way out. The narrow hallways and flickering lights added to the sense of dread and confusion. Their disappearances easily dismissed in the anonymity of a bustling city. In a place where people came and went without notice, their absence was hardly questioned.
It was a nightmare you couldn't wake up from. The realization that there was no escape dawned slowly, as the true horror of their situation became clear. You entered with hope, but soon you realized there was no escape. The rusty gates and abandoned building entrances symbolized the finality of their fate, a grim reminder that once you were in, there was no way out.
The basement of the Murder Castle was a scene of unimaginable horror. Here, Holmes tortured and murdered his victims, his methods as varied as they were gruesome. Bodies were disposed of in a giant furnace, dissolved in acid vats, or even meticulously dissected and their skeletons sold as medical specimens. The air was thick with the stench of death, a testament to the horrors that unfolded within those walls. Holmes's downfall began with his insatiable greed and his penchant for betrayal. He concocted elaborate insurance scams, killing accomplices and assuming new identities to evade capture, but his luck was running out.
Suspicions arose, and the net began to close around him.
The authorities were relentless. They knew they were dealing with a monster, and they wouldn't stop until he was brought to justice.
Finally apprehended in 1894, Holmes was charged with multiple murders, though the true extent of his crimes remains unknown. His arrest marked the beginning of the end for one of the most notorious figures in American criminal history. The public was both horrified and fascinated by the tales of his gruesome deeds, which seemed to come straight out of a Gothic horror novel. Newspapers of the time were filled with lurid details, and the trial became a media sensation, drawing crowds eager to catch a glimpse of the man behind the monstrous acts. He confessed to 27 murders, but some estimates place the number far higher. Investigators believe that the true number of his victims could be as many as 200, given the number of disappearances and the evidence found in his infamous Murder Castle. This building, located in Chicago, was a labyrinthine structure filled with secret passages, trapdoors, and soundproof rooms designed specifically for his heinous activities. The sheer scale and meticulous planning of his crimes left even the most seasoned detectives in shock.
On May 7, 1896, I was hanged at Moyamensing Prison in Philadelphia. The execution was a public spectacle, attended by journalists and curious onlookers. As I stood on the gallows, I remained calm and composed, showing no signs of remorse for my actions. My final words were a chilling reminder of my cold-blooded nature, as I proclaimed my innocence despite the overwhelming evidence against me. My death brought an end to my reign of terror, but my legacy, as America's first serial killer, continues to haunt the annals of criminal history. The stories of my crimes have inspired countless books, movies, and television shows, cementing my place in the pantheon of infamous criminals. Even today, the name H.H. Holmes evokes a sense of dread and fascination, as people continue to be captivated by the macabre details of my life and deeds.
Indeed, the legend of H.H. Holmes is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind the most charming of facades. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the capacity for evil that resides within the human soul. As we look back on his life and the horrors he inflicted, we are reminded of the importance of vigilance and the need to confront the darkness, no matter how well it may be hidden.